Welcome to a chilling journey into the depths of darkness. Today, we unveil Bound by Shadows, the Dark Demon Pact, a tale where sinister forces and fragile humanity collide. Discover how a desperate soul, driven by pain and revenge, strikes a terrifying pact with ancient demons, unleashing horrors that blur the line between salvation and damnation. Prepare for haunting lore, breathtaking dark fantasy, and secrets that will keep you questioning reality. If you crave stories drenched in mystery and shadow, you're in the right place. Hit like, subscribe, and let's descend together into the abyss of Bound by Shadows. Bound by Shadows, the Dark Demon Pact. In the remote village of Aloan, shrouded by ancient pines and thick mists, legends whispered of shadowy figures that roamed after dusk, entities older than the stones beneath their feet. The villagers lived cautiously, abiding by old customs, hanging iron talismans on doors, never venturing out after the third bell of night, and always leaving offerings of salt and bread at their thresholds. A young woman named Leora, an apprentice herbalist, never put much stock in these tales. Her mind was trained on curing fevers and brewing tinctures, not on ghost stories meant to frighten children. Yet her skepticism was tested when her brother, Corin, fell gravely ill. No herb or prayer could soothe his suffering. His breaths were ragged, his eyes rolled back, and at night he spoke in foreign tongues. The village priest declared it a curse, retribution for some unknown sin. Leora refused to accept this. Desperate, she remembered the stories of the forest beyond the village, where shadows gathered thickest, where it was said demons lingered, waiting for mortals brave or foolish enough to call upon them. So under a waning crescent moon, Leora wrapped herself in a dark cloak and ventured into the woods. Hours passed as she wandered deeper, guided only by instinct and the erratic beat of her heart. Finally, she found a glade illuminated by an unnatural glow. In its center stood a figure, tall, draped in shifting darkness, horns curling like serpents above its head, eyes burning with crimson light. "I have awaited you, Leora of Aloan." The demon spoke, its voice resonating through her bones. She swallowed her terror. "You know my name? I know the weight of your heart, the ache of your desperation. You seek to save your brother." "Yes," she breathed. "Please, heal him. I will pay any price." The demon's smile was a gash of silver. "Any price?" Words offered in darkness are binding, mortal. Know that well. A tremor of fear coursed through her, but she nodded. "I understand." "Very well," it intoned. The air grew heavy, pressing on her chest. A shadowy claw extended, dripping ink like tendrils. "Offer your hand." When she did, the demon's claws pierced her palm. Blood mingled with darkness, and she felt something slip into her veins, cold, alive, and ancient. "It is done," the demon said. "Your brother will awaken by dawn. But heed this pact. In 7 years' time, I shall come to claim what is owed." "And what is owed?" she demanded, her voice tight. The demon's grin widened. "You shall be my shadow. Where I walk, you will follow. Where I hunger, you will feed. You will be bound to me, body and soul." Before she could protest, darkness surged around her. When it cleared, she stood alone in the quiet forest. Her hand bore a swirling mark, black as midnight. True to the demon's word, Corin awoke the next morning, fever broken, confused but alive. The village rejoiced, calling it a miracle. Only Leora knew the truth, and each night, she traced the mark on her palm, feeling its cold pulse. The 7 years. Time passed, and outwardly life returned to normal. Leora continued her work, tending to the sick and gathering herbs. Yet something inside her had changed. Sometimes, in moments of anger or fear, shadows bent toward her, whispering. At night, she dreamed of endless voids and eyes watching from beyond the stars. 7 years slid by, each season carrying her closer to her doom. On the final night, as she prepared to flee, the air grew thick and a chill swept through her cottage. The demon emerged from a corner of darkness, just as regal and terrifying as before. "Leora," it purred, "our pact is due." Tears welled in her eyes. "Must you take me? I have served my village well. Isn't there another way?" "You misunderstand," it said, gently brushing her cheek with claws that burned like frost. "I do not take without giving. You are mine now, but in that, you become more." The world tilted. Darkness wrapped around her, sinking into her flesh. Her heart raced as her veins burned with shadow. When she looked down, her skin was etched with faint patterns like living ink. Her senses sharpened. She could smell the iron tang of distant blood, hear the scrape of beetles beneath the floorboards. "You are my bound shadow," the demon whispered. "Through you, I walk the world without form. In return, your mortal fears, death, frailty, loneliness, are no longer yours. You will stride through centuries, as storms come and kingdoms fall." "Am I a monster now?" she asked, voice breaking. "You are what the world made you," it replied. "A soul desperate enough to seek the dark. Now walk with me." And so she did. Leora left Eloan behind, moving through lands and epochs with her dark patron. At first she resisted, weeping for lost kin and fading memories. But as decades passed, she began to embrace her power. She quelled plagues in cities by whispering to the rot itself, twisted tyrants' dreams into madness, and sometimes, quietly, healed children who reminded her of her brother. Still, each act was a thread in the tapestry of shadow the demon wove across the world. She was both its agent and its conscience, forever bound by the choice she made in desperation. Themes and meaning. Desperation and bargains. At its core, bound by shadows, the Dark Demon Pact explores how desperation can drive people to choices they would never otherwise consider. Leora's love for her brother pushes her to seek out forces she neither understands nor respects. The story shows that the cost of such bargains often lies hidden until too late. It reflects a timeless human fear, that the lengths we might go to save a loved one could ultimately damn us. Duality of light and darkness. The tale plays heavily with contrasts. Leora begins as a healer, surrounded by life and growth, yet becomes an emissary of shadow. The demon itself is not simply evil. It honors its bargains. It offers power as well as doom. This ambiguity forces us to question the nature of darkness, whether it is inherently malevolent or merely a part of the balance of existence. Transformation and identity. Leora's transformation is not just physical, but profoundly psychological. Initially horrified by her changes, she grows to accept, perhaps even cherish, her new nature. This reflects the way trauma or hard choices can reshape a person's identity. She moves from fear to agency, wielding her power for both mercy and wrath. The weight of choice. Importantly, the story underscores that all of this began with a choice. Even if it was made under duress, Leora stepped into the forest and spoke her plea. Her fate was not random, and while tragic, it carries the haunting lesson that choices, especially those made in shadow, can ripple across lifetimes. Story structure and explanation. 1. Exposition. The setting, a superstitious village on the edge of dark, ancient woods, immediately establishes a gothic, folkloric atmosphere. We learn the customs of Eloan and meet Leora, practical and skeptical, which sets her up to be tested by forces she cannot control. 2. Inciting incident. Corin's mysterious illness drives Leora to desperation. This moment forces her to break societal and personal boundaries by seeking out the forbidden, classic fairy tale logic that leads mortals to crossroads with the supernatural. 3. Rising action. The meeting with the demon escalates tension. The pact is chilling but clear, introducing the key motif of bargains that seem straightforward yet conceal devastating costs. 4. Climax. 7 years later, when the demon returns, the story reaches its emotional peak. Leora's dread collides with the demon's inexorable claim. But instead of violent abduction, we witness a chilling, almost tender transformation, more tragic than monstrous. 5. Falling action and resolution. Leora adjusts to her new existence, eventually wielding her powers with a complex morality. The ending is bittersweet. She is both liberated from human frailty and forever alienated from humanity. Her fate is tragic, but not entirely devoid of agency or purpose. Why the story matters. Bound by shadows. The Dark Demon Pact resonates because it taps into deep archetypal fears of losing loved ones, of paying a terrible price for salvation, and of becoming something other than human. It draws on classic folklore motifs, the dangerous bargain with a devil or fae, but gives them a nuanced twist by exploring how such a fate could evolve over time. The ambiguity of the demon, neither wholly cruel nor benevolent, mirrors the ambiguity of power itself. Is Leora damned, or has she simply transcended human concerns? The story leaves this question hanging, inviting us to grapple with the uneasy notion that darkness is not always the opposite of life, but sometimes its strange companion. Thank you for venturing into the dark world of Bound by Shadows, the dark demon pact with us. If this tale of forbidden power and eerie destinies gripped your imagination, be sure to hit like and subscribe for more chilling stories and sinister lore. Share your thoughts and theories in the comments. We'd love to hear how you think this dark pact will unfold. Don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss our next dive into the shadows. Until then, stay curious, stay brave, and remember, some pacts linger far longer than the darkness itself. See you soon.